You're probably familiar with these cars, but what are they like to drive? The London Taxi. It's a British icon. Even now, after so many redesigns, it's instantly recognisable, and one of the most practical vehicles around. This is the latest incarnation, and along with most vehicles these days, it's gone electric. The only horse here is on the badge. About 65 miles of pure EV. Let's get around this bend. Just over 300 miles using both electric and the engine. That engine is a 1.5 litre 3-cylinder unit from Volvo, but it's only there to charge the batteries. The electric motor does the driving. I could just drive this all day. This is comfortable. As with most taxis, turning circles absolutely amazing. Really good fun. So noticeably different from the old TX2 that I used to drive is that I can comfortably speak to the passengers in the back because it's so quiet and it's so spacious in here. A much more comfortable drive. Let's see if I can get a bit of speed up this time. It's difficult on this windy circuit, but and it just handles it with ease. Okay, a little speed bump here. Let's see how smooth this is. Okay, not bad. I already don't want to give this back. I was saying to the girl, I actually could have had a taxi as my daily driver. Yeah, fabulous to drive. And when the TX2 was eventually retired from service, it was sold to a family who were going to use it for their daily driver. And I believe they were going to spray it gold. So I would love to have seen what it looked like. The London Electric Vehicle Company who build these cars see a lot of potential in their machines beyond being a taxi. They also make a van version, ideal for urban deliveries, and there's even high-end luxury models for VIP transportation. For most of us though, unless you're a cabbie, you'll be in the back. Yeah, well, I tell you already, it's an extremely comfortable ride here in the back. This is a lot wider, I think, certainly than the old TX2 that I was used to. It's very quiet. That's the noticeable thing, not just from it being an electric vehicle, but just general ambience in the back here. And I know that my old TX2 is not really much of a comparison because there's been so many upgrades since then, but I just remember it being so rattly, everything shaking on it, sounded like a metal box that you were sat in. But this is luxury. Lovely seats. Of course, there's a lot of space in here for the wheelchair access as well. So it's got an integrated ramp and a swivel seat as well for easy wheelchair access or easy disabled access, which is great. And the intercom, just so much better. I always felt I had to shout to passengers in the back, I guess just to shout over that noise that I was describing before. But here it's so easy to hear. And it's little effort from a driving perspective as well, especially if you're doing a shift in something like this. And if you are in the city or in the towns, driving is actually quite hard work and tiring, but something like this would be quite a pleasant experience. And of course for the passengers, which is really important because that's something they're going to really remember. Wow, look at that. A 360. Absolutely perfect. And that's some legacy, that turning circle, some legacy from the cars turning out the front of the Savoy Hotel, I believe. Not sure on the full story of that, but that's why it's so good historically, why that turning circle is so important. This panoramic roof is absolutely gorgeous as well. This is an option on this new cab. Doesn't come as standard, but I can see that a lot of drivers are going to select this, because if you're taking passengers out London, perhaps they're sightseeing, they might be tourists, and this just gives them that extra window on the city. I can just imagine looking at the Shard or something similar out the top of that. That's a lovely feature. Well, I'll tell you what, I really wouldn't mind paying for a ride in this vehicle. It's an absolute pleasure. You've got isolated controls for aircon and heater in the back here as well, which I've just noticed. I totally think as a passenger, something like that is a bonus. I know that most taxi journeys are typically not very long, but as I said, if you're, for example, stuck in London on a hot, sticky day, you don't want to jump in one of these things where everyone else has been hot and sticky before you. It's nice to have that option for a bit of aircon to cool you down.
The London Taxi, still practical, still as good as it's ever been, and amazingly good fun to drive too.